Well, welcome, Kathy Hesse Driggs, a member of the 2025 DePauw Athletic Hall of Fame class. Congratulations.
Thank you.
One thing I always ask is, how does that feel? You go your whole life and, you're Kathy, and now all of a sudden you're immortalized at your school in the Hall of Fame. Does it resonate? Does it hit? Has it sunk in?
It has sunk in more than anything. It at first made me nervous, but it was also funny because my husband went to DePauw and our son went to DePauw as well. And so, and my husband's very involved. So it's just honestly funny because I'm like, oh.
And both you and Mark are 91 grads, correct?
We both are 91 grads.
Yeah. So did you meet at DePauw? And,
we did.
What year did you meet?
We apparently met freshman year. I more remember it junior year. We studied abroad in Greece together. So, but we didn't date while we were at DePauw. I mean, it was really pretty much after we got out of DePauw. But we were definitely good friends because we were on the Greece trip together, and then we had a nice group.
It's one of the cool things that DePauw offers. I'm an 87 grad, so the international stuff, the athletics, everything with the liberal arts is just fantastic.
It was such a great experience. I mean, such a great experience.
So you're from St. Louis originally?
Correct.
Okay, so how does DePauw get on your radar?
Actually, pretty funny. DePauw wasn't on my radar, and I obviously was a field hockey player in St. Louis, and there was an older gentleman who was not affiliated with our high school, but used to come watch our games all the time. And he said to my dad, I think Kathy should look at DePauw. I don't know why. Like he said it, I know it was for field hockey reasons, but because I wasn't planning on playing field hockey in college. And so he said, I think she should look at DePauw. I literally had to FedEx in my application. And I was accepted. I knew a few people who were there, a few baseball players. And so, I went to visit and loved it and was like, okay, I'm sold.
So DePauw, small liberal arts school in Greencastle, Indiana, did that match kind of the demographic of schools you were looking at?
Not at all.
What were some of the other ones?
I mean, I was looking at going to KU, Kansas.
Really?
Yeah. I was from St. Louis and knew, a lot of people there. So no, it wasn't on my radar at all. Miami of Ohio was on my radar. So maybe that's close to it, but obviously still bigger.
And if you would have gone to either of those schools, would you have played?
No, I don't think Kansas didn't have. No, I wasn't planning on playing field hockey. I was planning on going to a bigger school. And
so when you selected DePauw, and Judy George was the coach, is that correct?
Yeah.
So did she recruit you at all? Did she know you were coming, or how did you wind up not looking to be a college athlete and then all of a sudden being a decorated future Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know my athletic director at home, had suggested it. And then when I looked at the school, I actually think I walked on and tried out. I don't think it was any more than that. And honestly, I was a defensive player in high school. We played a very different system, a 5-5, which is you never see anymore. And so we played a 5-5, and I was defense, but a scoring defender. And Judy George, one of our seniors, a great player, one of our seniors, unfortunately blew out her knee, middle of my freshman year, but kind of ended her career, unfortunately. But Judy put me in center forward. I'm like, wait, I'm not that was just not my spot. It was definitely different. And then I played that all 4 years that I was at DePauw.
Did it come naturally to you once you moved up there?
Yeah, it came pretty naturally. I went back to my high school coach and I was like, why did you put me on defense? And she's like, because I coached defense. So I picked my players. I was like, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's one of the crazy things. I used to be a soccer coach, college soccer coach. And, you spend all this time recruiting, and then sometimes game changers just fall right into your lap for no reason. Spend all this time and energy, and then somebody will in and changes the direction of the program. It's crazy how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. It was definitely not what I was expecting, but.
So one of the things with field hockey that is, somewhat unique. I mean, soccer has changed venues as well, but your entire field is gone. And when you come back to DePauw and you have a place that you have all of these incredible memories of, and it's not there anymore, are you still able to connect?
I haven't really thought of it that way because we were connecting in different ways. We were coming back a lot because our son was there. So we were connecting with more with the people and then his friends and their parents and just that great DePauw, feeling when families are very welcome and it's fun to see everyone's kids and the parents, and I feel like all the students want you there, and so it was fun. Few of my son's friends played soccer, so we would go to the soccer games, which felt like back to what we were doing. I hardly ever made games because I was always playing, so I didn't make many soccer or football. I only made Mona and Bell every year. I mean, that was the only football game I ever saw, and not my senior year because we went to this NCAA. But so it was fun to actually go and be a spectator at the sports.
Okay, so now you've got. I think I probably know what the highlight of your career is. What was there a difficult time? Was there a troubled time? Was there a slump? Was there a moment that you're like, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this?
There was. My senior year, I was like, really? I think I'm out. I think I'm done. I was student teaching. And I kind of had other things on my mind that I wanted to do. And Judy was pushing us hard. And I know she was probably pushing us hard because she knew what we could do. And I was like, I might be ready to hang up my cleats. My dad's like, no, you don't want to do that. Not at this point. And I don't even know why. I just kept going. I mean, I think I wasn't going to quit actually, but I think the thought that I could if I wanted to was more out there.
Was that over the summer or was that actually in season?
Well, I wouldn't have quit in season. No, it was coming into the season. So end of the summer.
So that turned out to be a pretty special year, which I imagine is probably the big highlight. Talk me through that. So you go from having a little bit of doubt as to whether you're going to continue to having one of the most historic seasons in our field hockey history.
Yeah, it was, we had a great group of girls. And so it was really, really fun. But I wouldn't say necessarily that was my only highlight because I really enjoyed all the players. Like in our travel, I mean, we had so many funny stories and the bus rides or the van rides. Half of that was
you got buses, we got
we got vans. And some of that was just, half the fun. I had a game or two where I had a hat trick. That was actually probably even that highlight as well. But I mean, we had Judy George, I think I wrote this down, but Judy George had told us if we went to the NCAA, she would have a lobster dinner for us. So we had this crazy cheer, and I can't even remember it, that we used to say, and we added on to it every year. But at the very end of my senior year, at the end of the cheer, every time we'd say, and lobster. And it was so funny because no one else had any idea what we were doing. And she was good for her word.
So when did she put that on the table? Was that sophomore year, or was that just?
Senior year.
Okay. So was that at what point did it start becoming a reality?
I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. We were doing well, and it was probably mid-season when, she put it out there. Because I remember it being part of our cheer, for a while. So it was definitely, but I don't think it happened before. Senior year.
That's a big expense for a coach.
and where's she getting back then? I mean, now probably you can find lobster everywhere, but I'm not sure where she got it.
Yeah.
Like in Greencastle.
Greencastle's not a surfing.
Yeah, she had moved into this new house in the woods, which was terrific. She had us all out there. I mean, it was really fun. And
so it's those moments, it's the van, it's those epic moments on the field that create relationships and lifelong friends. How connected are you with some of your former teammates?
I have very fond memories of all of them. It's fun to see anyone, when we see them. I recently, my parents came to every single game. Which was super, super cool. And so everyone knew my parents. There was one other family that came, and they would alternate bringing snacks or drinks. Judy George wrote several letters to my parents.
Really? That you did not know about?
Maybe at the time I did. I have no recollection of it, though. So, but I found them, and just like congratulating them on, if I made regional All-American or something.
How awesome.
She wrote, isn't that great?
That is really great. I mean,
Isn't that
again, that's
cool?
a little bit of a different time, but still, now it's an email or a text and it's quick,
Right.
but that takes time. That actually takes energy and effort to do something like that. That's impressive, Coach George.
Yeah, I definitely, when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool.
So you don't get to a place like DePauw, you don't get to, have a career like you had. You don't get to be in the Hall of Fame without having major influences that shape you as you look through your high school, your college career, before you start an actual profession. Who are those individuals that touched your life in that way? And remember some of those, tipping point moments, defining moments that, maybe you were headed left and they just sort of pushed you a little bit to the right.
Yeah, I'm sure my mom played field hockey in high school too. And she just stayed active in tennis and other sports. And my parents were always at my games, so they were always supporting me. But my high school coach was also our athletic director. And I originally had a degree in physical education from DePauw. And then I went back to get reading and learning disabilities, and that's the field I'm in now. But so really, those three people, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we had a great team and a really fun team. I just love being involved in sports and being part of a team.
Yeah.
So in high school, I had that too. So.
Yeah, you had no downtime in high school. I mean, you were part of a team every season. So now going back to DePauw, and you look at one of the cool things that they offer is winter term. Any exciting winter term trips that you took during your time?
Yeah. I studied reef ecology in Cayman Island. Oh, so it's funny because I've just recently I was going to go with some friends scuba diving, and my kids are like, well, we're going. I'm like, you're not certified. And they're like, we'll get certified. So recently, a couple of years ago, my kids got certified. So now it's something we do together, which is really fun. And then some families that I grew up with. So super fun.
Was it actually called reef ecology?
Yes.
Oh, that's clever.
And we had to fight for it because they had decided, well, this is actually ties back to field hockey, but they decided that we couldn't do it. They had done it maybe 2 years in a row. They had it. We took the scuba diving class at DePauw, but the gentleman who taught us, he was not affiliated with DePauw. And so they said we had to have someone go that was affiliated with DePauw. It was last minute. So we were searching. I got our assistant coach, field hockey coach, to go with us.
Yeah. Is there a moment as a student that you recognize? So you're coming out of high school. You came out of a very good high school. Was DePauw an easy transition? Was it difficult? Is there a moment where you were like, I'm way over my head here, or
no.
I got this?
No, definitely I got this. I loved every moment of it. Our son, when he started, was a little more reserved, and I wasn't even sure, how it was going for him. And my husband's like, I don't know anyone who didn't love DePauw. Stop worrying.
So one of the cool things I think about going into the Hall of Fame when your kids are older is they can process it. If they're 3, 4, 5 years old, it's like, oh, great. I don't know what that means. But at this age, especially with Townsend coming out of DePauw, and Trisha's junior right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're old enough they can process this. When they heard, what was their reaction?
They thought it was very cool. They're excited. I have a group of DePauw friends who are coming too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The cool thing about it too is, when and I'm a dad, and your kids get into their 20s, my kids are in their 20s, you're dad, you're not a former athlete. So this is a chance for them to go, whoa, wait a second. You did what during your time? Hall of Fame level? That's pretty cool. So that's neat that they're going to, hopefully they both get to experience that with you. So you were there, and did you know when you entered DePauw what it was you wanted to do for a career?
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, actually, when I student taught, I was like, yeah, this is not for me.
Was it one student, 2 students? What was
No, it was what I had to teach. So I was at Greencastle High School. I was 3 or 4 years older than, the students there, just depending on how old they were. And they made me do track and square dancing.
Oh, wow.
And I actually had to call it. And I was like, I'm out. I'm like, I will not be a PE teacher. So
what swung you back?
Well, so I never taught PE. I went back to my high school and coached there. My mom was sick, and so I was home. And then when I moved to Chicago, I coached at a high school and got my degree then in reading and learning differences.
How cool was that to go back to your high school, after a little bit of separation, so you don't know any of the students, but to come back as a coach?
It was it was great because the coaches were still there that I, worked with, and they were terrific. They're the reasons I wanted to go into PE.
Gotcha. Now, when you graduated and when you were heading into teaching, was that the field you thought you'd be in, or
No.
What drew you there?
So when I went up to coach, so I worked at Deerfield High School and I was the head coach there. And so I still needed something else. And so I was like an aide in the special ed department.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, oh, I love this.
And that was around what year?
So that would have been 93.
And you're still in that? Are you Deerfield?
No, so I'm now in the city. So that was a public high school in the suburbs, but now I work in the city at a private school for kids with learning differences. So I've been there 10 years now. So
the one thing that I've understood from being a coach and being in that environment is it's unbelievably rewarding work. Like at night, you put your head down on the pillow and you do feel like you made a difference, but it's also exhausting work. And there's a high burnout rate. So how do you navigate that, keeping yourself fresh and keeping yourself energized to do that really good work?
Well, our setup is different. So I only have 5 students in a class because I teach kind of a specialized what we're known for, basically. And so I only have 5 students. The kids crack me up every day. And so I say I don't need to work with the adults. It's the students, I like working with. And so, yeah, I just enjoy being with them. And they're, it's juniors and seniors in high school. I actually have 2 sophomores this year, which I haven't had in a long time. But and so I really enjoy that age group. I enjoy as you said, it's rewarding and they're getting ready for college and you're, helping them prepare for that next step.
So having done it for 10 years and at that age level, you've had many that have gone on to matriculate to colleges. Mm-hmm. And when they come back, what's that experience like? Because, you help, just like you said, you help prepare them for a challenge that, is difficult for anybody. And I have to believe that there's a special connection when they come back and share their stories with you.
Oh, it's terrific. It's terrific. We just had a few come back for an event that we were doing. And we were doing like a cook-off. One went on to become a chef. And so he was doing a cook-off with some other, we have a faculty member who actually has a culinary degree as well. And then they brought someone in from the outside. So he did a cook-off and another one came in and gave a presentation about what he's doing. They'll come in during career week too. It's great. I love seeing where they're going in life. It's been very rewarding.
This has been an awesome conversation, not just to kind of relive some moments that we've shared at DePauw, because we were there around the same amount of time. So the coaches and the people were very similar. And then certainly with your son and some of the players I coached, that connection, it's been rewarding on that respect for me, but then also just listening to the good work that you're doing right now and the lives that you're changing up in Chicago is awesome. So I'm thrilled and honored to have been a part of this. I want to say congratulations.
I'm honored. Thank you. And I appreciate
Hesse, as your classmates knew you, Driggs is now a member of the DePauw Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you.